You got to work for what you want. It's not given to you. Yeah. And the younger you start, the more experience you get, the more willing you are to tackle projects. I was 14 years old. I heard that they were hiring in Portland, Maine on the extra gang. So I knew my father was working, my mother gone shopping, so I went home and packed a little bag, and I had $4 or $5 saved up for the train fare, 100 miles. And I left him a note. I get to Portland, Maine, out in the yard, and I asked where the extra gang was. They slept in boxcars. And they told me, and I went over, and I'll never forget this man. He asked me, he said, "What do you want, son?" I said, "I'd like a job." He said, "How old are you?" Of course, you had to be 16. So I told him 16. My father wrote me a letter saying, you have to come home. You have to come home. It's time to go to school. And I told him I didn't want to go to school. My father sat me down, and he says, "Albert, if you don't want to go to school, you'll never amount to anything." And I never forgot that. But when I became 18, they hired me in the mill, and that's where my father worked. He was a foreman in a bleach plant. And by the time I got to be 28 years old, I became superintendent of the pulp mill. And that made me my father's boss. The first trip I made through the pulp mill, my father's there in the aisle there at the desk. I said, "Hi, Dad." He says, "Hi, Al. How's everything going, Dad?" "Good, good, good." "Oh," he says, "listen, by the way," he says, "I'd like to have the weekend off." So I thought about it a little bit. I said, "Dad, let me think about it." But my father had sugar diabetes, and he died at 82. And before I retired, I was vice president of the whole mill by then. My mother saw the financial report. I was on the quarterly financial report and year-end financial report of a $4 billion outfit. She cried, and she said, "Your dad would be so proud of you." I still cry when I think about it, you know. Yeah. There was a hotel for sale. You had to bid on it. 60 rooms, all plaster. Oh, what a job. And so I bid on it. I bid $202. And I got it. I got the bid. And it took me 8.5 months. And I tore it all down. And I sold hardwood floors, sold doors, I sold sewer pipe. So I got all my money back. And I ended up with all the rough lumber for the house. And I built it all alone. The only thing I didn't do is dig the hole for the foundation. Oh, and my wife designed the house. It was her design. And she'd come up and help me when she could, but I'll never forget. I asked her to pass me the pinch bar, and she had no idea where the pinch bar was. Yeah, she'd bring my lunch, and I'd have lunch there, and I'd work 10 hours and get a few hours sleep before going to work. But it was a long, hard job, all alone. It was slow work, cutting all my beams and everything, leaning it up against the house, going up on a roof, hauling them up. But anyway, I started in May, and I trapped all winter. And come April, I went inside and started putting the sheetrock up and doing the joints. And around June 18th, which was our anniversary, we moved into our new home. Everything was done. Yeah. Moved in '56, and we were married 64 years. We lived there all our life. I look at it today, and there's a lot of stuff I did that I don't know how I did it, but I did it. Yeah. It takes a little longer, that's all. It's such a satisfying thing when you do it yourself. Sometimes you may need a little help, but when you do it yourself, it's very gratifying, and it leads you to other things that you don't think you can do, but you go ahead and you tackle them. And that's the secret. Say, I'm going to do it. Yeah, be resigned to the fact that you can do it. You will do it. Yeah.